Hi everyone, I'm Miss Rachel. I'm the Youth Services Librarian, and I'm going to give you a little tour of the library this afternoon. So this is the front entrance of the library. So if you park in our parking lot, this is the entrance that you'll enter into. And before we go in, I just want to let you know the library has changed a little bit. So we're going to go in and we're going to look at all the different areas all the books are, but there are certain areas of the library that are closed right now, so people can't go and look at books in them, including the children's area, which is why I can't have you here with me. But I'm going to show you those areas and show you where books normally live so that you have an idea of where you can find items in the library. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them the best to my ability, okay? Okay, well, before we go in right now, we are all wearing masks, so I'm going to put my mask on. And I'll give you a little tour of the library. We're going to do the children's room last because I'm going to go into more detail about the children's room. But let's start our tour. Are you ready? Okay, this is the front door of the library. We're going to go in really quickly to the entrance. We have Joe. He's our door greeter right now. Hi, Joe.
Hi.
And this is the entryway. And right to the right is the children's area, which we'll come back to. I'll give you a little tour. But I'm going to show you the rest of the library first. So right across the hall from the library, we have some restrooms. There are 2 open restrooms for people to use. Our water fountains are closed, but they're right there. And right above it would normally be where we have our flyers for different events at the library and then community events over here. Okay. Now we enter the circulation area. You would check out books here and return books here normally, but right now we're not going to return books. All books are going to go in the book drop outside, but you can see in the back that there are some carts, and that's where all the books that get checked in go when they're ready to be shelved. Across from the circulation desk, there's a small collection of paperback books. Those are very fun. And these are all books for big people. So when we go back to the children's area, you'll be able to see all the books for kids. But right now we're seeing all the books for big people. And then when we go up to the teen room, there will be some books for the teens. So this is our new book landing. These are all new fiction and nonfiction books. Some new graphic novels and DVDs. New audiobooks. And if you come back into the historic wing, this is the original building. We have our DVD collection for big people. Here are some more down here. And then we also have some shelves of audiobooks. Now if I turn around, you'll see one of our rooms in the historic area. You can see this is a very old building that we added to make the library bigger. And back here we would normally have our magazines and newspapers for grown-ups to read, but we've kind of taken that away because nobody's sitting in the library right now. We have some browsing happening. People can come look at the DVDs and the audiobooks. Here's another sitting area that's closed off. And there is a portrait of Llewellyn Lithgow, who, when he died, left money for the library to be built. So that's who the library is named after. Okay, and this is the last part of the historic building that the public is allowed in. This is called the reading room. It's this beautiful green color. Look at it though, wow. Usually when we're open, we allow people to come in here and read quietly. This is a quiet area. Not like the kids' room where we have a lot of fun and can play together. This is for studying and reading. We have some people performing in this room right now, but normally people would just sit and do some studying. Okay, let's go up to the next floor, which has some more materials for grown-ups. We're still in the new book landing, so here are some more new books. This is called an OPAC, or a catalog computer. You can look up items and find their call numbers in it. So if you're looking for something specific, it would help you find the book in what area of the library it is. Okay, so this is the second floor now, and this is our reference area. So right in front of you, this is the reference desk, and normally we would have someone who sits at this desk and answer questions and helps people get onto computers, but we don't have anyone sitting here right now. The computers are usually here where all these wires are. See them? Here's one that's set up. To give you an idea, we usually have about 10 computers, and these are for adults to use. These are adult computers. So this is where you can get on a computer and do some research. There are some study rooms back there. Those are currently closed, but people might rent them to do some studying or meet with other people. And then we have this area, and we call these the stacks. They're shelves of books, but the stacks hold tons and tons and tons of books. So on this side, from here all the way down, on this right side, we have adult fiction books. Adult fiction books. So these are stories that people wrote that they made up. They're creative stories. So they didn't necessarily happen in real life. You're not going to use these books to get information or facts. You're going to use these books kind of as entertainment, right? Kind of as entertainment. We have a lot. It goes all the way down. Look at all of those books. Wow. All the way down to the end here. And then we would normally have people sitting and enjoying the library over here, but we have some staff who need places to sit right now. So we have some staff desks set up in this area, which is why it's still closed. I'm just going to take you over here. This is a shorter stack, but this is all of the graphic novels for grown-ups and teens. There's a big section of graphic novels right here. And these are kind of like picture books, but they're a little more mature. So they have all sorts of pictures in them. They have words too, but they have big grown-up stories. Some people like picture books at all ages. Okay, and then we have on the other side, similar to this side, we also have a bunch of stacks. See them? See all the stacks of books? And these books shelves are filled with what we call nonfiction books. Nonfiction books. And these books have facts in them. They pertain to real life. So you might find something like, these look like history books. These are books about the history of the world as people see it. We have some craft books. There's some crochet and knitting books in here. You might also find books on pets. I see a cat section right at the end there. Or there are even some cookbooks, I think, at this end. Some cookbooks. Things on dinosaurs and evolution and animals, water and chemistry, all sorts of things. You would use these books for research. This is where you're going to find information that you use to do research and grow smarter. These books all contain facts and pertain to real life. There's some encyclopedias. Here's a special section In our nonfiction section, we have biographies. And biographies are books about people's lives. And these people tend to do something notable. So they did something to change history or technology or a certain aspect of life. So for example, this book is on George Harrison. He was in a band called the Beatles, and they had a huge impact on music. So that's why there's a book written about his life. And we have another special section over here called large print, and these books are just a little bit bigger text, so it makes them easier to read. They're much easier to read. Okay, these are just some books that need to be shelved. So they're waiting for someone to shelve, and if you look at them, you'll see each one has a little sticker on it. And these are called the spine labels, and these labels tell us exactly where in the collection each book goes. These ones are nonfiction books because they start with, their spine labels start with numbers. Those numbers are part of a system called the Dewey Decimal System. So every book has a specific place that it goes in the library, and these spine labels help us know where exactly in the library they go. Okay, I'm going to take you into the teen room really quick. Here's a little display that our teen coordinator Cara made, and it's all the new teen books. All the new teen books. And if we go into the teen room, there's staff in here right now, so we have some desks in the teen room, but we have some teen magazines and teen nonfiction books over here. Most of the new books, however, are outside for a display. And then finally, if you come over to this section, we just have some fiction books. These are all the teen fiction books that we have. And fiction books, like I said, are creative works. So these don't necessarily tell true stories. They tell creative stories. So someone made these stories up. They're mostly for entertainment, to pass the time. There's a lot of teen books in here, though. When you turn 13, you're welcome to come into the teen room. Cara, our teen coordinator, does a lot of crafts, and they have even a Nintendo Switch system, so they have video games that they might play together. Here are some of the crafts they've done in the past. Wow, look at those. So it's kind of a cool place to hang out, but you have to turn 13 before you come in here. They have their own computers too. These are the only ones that haven't been taken down yet. But these are some computers that teens would use when we were open. Okay. We're back in the children's area, and there's the entrance right there. So as soon as you come into the library, you can come into the kids area. We have all of our new books on display on this nice little shelf. There's a family bathroom for anyone who needs to use it. And then right here, you have the desk. And this is normally where our staff sit to help you find a book. It looks a little different in here because we have some tables set up to help us with some of the services we're doing. Right now, we don't let anybody into the kids area. We're doing browsing by appointments just for that first floor I showed you. And then we're doing a service called Lithgow to Go, and that lives in here for right now. So this normally isn't in the children's area, but I'm going to show you some things that are. So let's start over here. We're going to go all the way down here, and let's talk about our AV section. Our AV. AV stands for audio visual. So anything that makes noise or has moving pictures. So first we have audiobooks. These are all CD audiobooks. So if you have a CD player, you can get some books to listen to instead of read. Some people have an easier time listening to books, and it's nice to listen to books while you do something else sometimes. So we have our audiobooks here. And then right below the audiobooks, in this section, we have a small music section. So these are CDs that you can listen to songs from. You might have, ooh, I see right there, Mary Poppins. Has anybody ever seen Mary Poppins? So that's the soundtrack. That's all of the songs that are in that movie. You can get songs for The Lion King. Maybe you want to listen to new songs from Milan. We have some CDs that you can play in your car if you want to. And then we also have the start of our DVD collection. So we have lots of DVDs, movies, and films for you to watch. And this is just the beginning of it. I'll show you where the rest of the DVDs are in a second, but they're across the room, and I want to stay on this side of the room because the way the library or the kids area is set up is it's kind of like you start with some books, and as you grow older, they grow with you. So right here, we have the board books. This is our board book section. You'll see we are on the left side of the room, and the stacks are a little shorter, and that's because the people who usually come and look at these books, they're a little smaller. So the board books are special books for babies and infants. They're a little sturdier, so they're learning how to use books. They have a little bit sturdier construction so that they don't necessarily rip the pages. They might be books about colors or shapes. There are some short stories, all sorts of things. Those are called board books. And then next to the board books, we actually have parenting books. So these are for the grown-ups in your life, the parents, the caregivers. This helps them raise you. So these are some books that just give them some advice on what's best to do with their children. Not necessarily books for kids, but definitely books for kids. Okay, now moving on. So we had the board books first, and now over here we have the early readers, or you might call these easy books. They're like when you first start reading by yourself, you can use these books. They use simple words, new words that you might know, words that are easy to sound out, and they're kind of like little chapter books. They're a gateway to chapter books. So we have them here, and if you go around the corner, whoop, there are some more. So these are for our littlest independent readers. Independent readers. Next to those is the start of our picture books. And we know it's a picture book because it has a PB on it. A PB, and these books have mostly pictures and some words to go along with the pictures. I like to say that these are everybody books. Everybody books, because everybody loves picture books. They're fun. They might teach us a story, and these are the fiction picture books. So these are creative, fun stories. They're not necessarily true stories, right? This one's called Super Duck, and I bet that Super Duck talks a little bit, and in real life, ducks don't necessarily talk, but I bet the ducks in that book talk. So these are all of our fiction picture books. There are so many picture books, so many fiction picture books. We actually have, let's see, 1, 2, and look, 3 whole stacks of fiction picture books. 3 whole stacks of fiction picture books. And then right here, on this side, this is a separate stack. These are non-fiction picture books. So these still have a majority of pictures, right? They still have pictures inside. But, let's see. This one is about Halloween. So, it's a non-fiction book. See, it has lots of pictures in it, but it tells you about Halloween. So what do you do on Halloween? How do different people celebrate? How do different people celebrate? What day of the year is Halloween? Facts about Halloween. That's what you'll find in these books. You'll find a lot of facts. These books are mostly about real life. They're about different cultures. They're about animals. They're about outer space. They're not necessarily made up stories like our fiction books. So there's a whole stack of those. That's the picture book section. The picture book section. Okay, before we go over to the other side of the library, I'm going to show you this room right here. And this is our programming room. Some of you might know this room because we normally do our different programs like story time in here. It looks a little different right now because all the furniture from the children's room is in here. Wow, look at all of that. So is our friend. Can't leave without saying hi to Mr. Bear. Here's Mr. Bear. So we're not doing any programs right now except virtual ones, like this one. So we have some stuff stored in this room, but this is our programming room. If you ever came for a program, whether it be story time or a book club or a craft program, we normally do it in this room with you. Okay. This is normally where our computers would be. Our computers. We have 5 children's computers, but guess what? They took them all out today because we don't have computers right now. And we would have normally an OPAC right here or a catalog computer. Remember we saw one upstairs? That is to look up books in. Look up books in. This is where the catalog computer would be. Okay. Right here, we have a special section. This is where all of our magazines are. And magazines are here for children of all ages. You can be little and read Baby Bug. Or maybe you are a little bit older and you want to read about some wildlife in National Geographic Kid or Ranger Rick. Or you might want to learn a little bit and read a little bit about sports. We have Sports Illustrated Kids. And we also have like young writers. So there's magazines for everyone. I told you that the AV collection, the DVDs, continued over this way. So this is where they start again. We have a bunch of DVDs over here. A bunch of DVDs over here. And it ends over here. That's the last of our DVDs. See them all? There's a lot of DVDs in our collection. Okay. And now we're going to start with some nonfiction books. These are our biography books. Remember upstairs I showed you the special stickers that go on biographies? And these are books about what kind of people? These are people who have made notable changes in history or technology or some aspect of the world. So a lot of books about their lives and what they did and how that changed everything. How that affected your life. Biographies. We also have some graphic novels over here, and these are the graphic novels for kids. You'll see they have little stickers over here. And like the adult graphic novels, and kind of like picture books too, they have a lot of pictures in them that help you interpret the story. So they have words, but their format's a little different, and some people like to read them a little bit better than, say, chapter books. They're a lot of fun. Okay, if we go over here, there's another special section. These are our award nominees. Our award nominees. We have a few award nominees that we look at every year, and we buy all of the books for. We buy the Maine State Book Award nominees from their list and the Kennebec Valley Book Award list. And these are books that you can read And you can vote for your favorite one. So if you want to come read some Maine Student Book Award nominees or Kennebec Valley Book Award nominees, and then decide which one's your favorite, we can help you cast that vote. So you can request these through Lithgow to Go service and get some reading on. A lot of these are fiction. Some of these are nonfiction though too. So a good mix. The only reason they're over here is because they're part of a special vote that you can make if you want. Right now, we are entering the juvenile nonfiction. So we had the picture book nonfiction, and we saw the adult nonfiction upstairs. This is the juvenile nonfiction. So these are books, factual books, right? Books about real life, things that we believe, things that we've studied. And these ones are, in particular, probably for kids around the age of 7 and up. So maybe between 7 and 12-year-olds would read these books. Maybe you want to know something about writing, or you want to know about, oh look, there's a book on Hanukkah crafts. And here's one on mythological creatures. Now, mythological creatures aren't real creatures, but they're part of a culture, so that's why they're over here. Same with folklore, mythology, that's all in nonfiction because it's part of a specific culture. Here's some British folk tales. So these are stories that are told over and over and over again. They're part of a culture. They're not going to be in the fiction, even though they're not necessarily true, because they inform us about the way certain people live. We have some dictionaries. We have some books about math and earth, science, planets and stars. Wow, look at all those books. We have books about animals and dinosaurs. All sorts of books about dinosaurs. So many books about animals. There are a lot of animals in the world, so there are a lot of different books on all the different animals. We even have books on how to survive in the woods, survival books, anything you want to know. We basically have a book on it. And the librarians and the staff members are always happy to help you find a book. Look, these are even some cookbooks for kids. So this is on how to make sandwiches or how to bake. Maybe you want to bake some cookies. All sorts of books in the nonfiction section. So the nonfiction section starts halfway down on this shelf, but then we have a whole stack of nonfiction books. Here's more nonfiction books right there. And I'm going to walk down to the end over here because on this side, on my right, is the start of our juvenile fiction books. So when you are able to read all by yourself, you might start reading juvenile fiction books. These are books typically for kids between the ages of 7 and 12, and they're creative works, right? So somebody made them up and wrote them down, and they're to entertain you. They might inform you a little bit. They might be historical fiction, and they might give you some information about a time or a place or what it was like to live there. They might tell you what it's like to be a certain kind of person, what someone's experience might be. But we generally read these for entertainment and to pass the time. These are all the fiction books, all the chapter books. They're usually formatted in chapters. Here are some new ones that we have on the ends. All sorts of books. That's the fiction section. So I think that's all that I have to show you. But before we go, let me show you the big mural in the back of this area because it's really pretty. It's one of my favorite things. Here we are in the back. We have a big mural of a forest and all the animals in it. So right now, the children's area is closed off because, like I said, we're doing some different services in here, but pretty soon we're going to open up so you can come and browse. So you can come and browse these books and pick out some of your favorite ones. So thank you for coming on the library tour. I showed you a little bit of the whole library where you can look for all sorts of other books. A lot of it is closed off right now, but I also gave you an in-depth look at our children's room, which will be opening up soon. I hope to see you soon, and I hope you have a good day. Bye, see you later.